and welcome to a short preview of Sports Talk with Denise and guests. No guest tonight once the season starts. Michael will be joining me on a lot of the podcasts. We're just going to run down, are the teams ready for the 2019 season? We're going to take a sneak peek. You have your fantasy draft all set, your fantasy teams. So let's get started. So glad it's back. Oh, we waited so long for football to come back, right? 6 months. Oh, my God. I'm so ready for football this year. Really, I am. How about you guys? Are you ready for some football? I'm really excited. There's some of the preseason games. I'll tell you what. That Houston-Dallas game, I don't even know why they played because Houston didn't even show up for that one. I'm telling you, that was bad. That was a bad game. Did they keep the right players on these teams? Some of them. Hi, Ike. I figured you'd be ready for this. Are the Broncos ready? I'm not too sure. I don't know. But these NFL teams are ready to make a huge leap this year. You're welcome. Of course, there are so many leaps, of course, to be made in a season. It requires a strong strategy, but also a team stumbling to leave a void. Okay. The Jacksonville Jaguars. You got to be a stressful fan of the Jaguars, given the way they seem to yo-yo up and down, up and down, up and down. They're crazy. The span of 1 year, they went from sparring with Tom Brady in the AFC title game to finishing 14th in the AFC with 5 wins and a single victory in the AFC South. Crazy, crazy. They got a big win by landing Nick Foles in free agency, so there you go. Maybe the 30-year-old quarterback hasn't always played his playoff caliber, but the offense has some interesting pieces, like wide receiver D.D. Westbrook, and this should move more reliably. Foles has a level of experience, also has a benefit of getting all the starter reps in camp, and hopefully brings more consistency than the Blake Bortles era. Foles has his ups and downs, though. I don't know. I like Nick Foles, don't get me wrong, but we'll see. Given the already strong base defense, the addition of underrated players such as second-round offensive tackle Jawan Taylor and the upgrade at the most important positions, the Jags shouldn't have a problem leaping out of the 5-win hole. Okay, the 49ers. Garoppolo. I like Garoppolo. I really do. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I really do. That seems to be coming together for him. He's back under center. He's recovering, of course, from a torn ACL, which sure beats the tire out of the Nick Mullins CJ combo that led to a 4-12 finish last year. Ouch. Yeah. Garoppolo could have a slow transition back or not live up to the hype. We shall see. But even so, the rest of the happenings should propel the team beyond 500. Jerick McKinnon, who missed last year with an ACL injury, has also returned. He is part of a loaded backfield with Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida, who form a solid pass-catching stable to complement players like rookie wideout Deebo Samuel and elite tight end George Kittle. Defensively, the 49ers will make a leap with second overall pick Nick Bosa. Yeah. He's joining DeForest Buckner, who led the team with 12 sacks in 2018, as well as Pro Bowl defensive end D Ford. Last year, the Niners took down the Seahawks in Week 15, then lost to the Bears just by 5 points. So we shall see. How about the Panthers? It's not just about Cam Newton, though it's good news that 2015 MVP didn't start the year on the PUP list. But when it comes to making a leap from last year's sluggish 7-9 record, with just 2 of those wins coming in the NFC South, of course, everything else is important too. The Panthers have addressed the offensive line by adding center Matt Paradis, retaining Darrell Williams, and drafting Greg Little in the second round. 16th overall pick Brian Burns boosts what was already a strong on paper pass rushing rotation, as there's Gerald McCoy, who signed with the Panthers in June. The presence of these two new faces should help unearth the unit's overall potential, we hope. Christian McCaffrey broke out in his sophomore campaign for 1,098 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, as well as 867 yards and 6 scores through the air. He will again be an offensive centerpiece around a rebuilt offensive line. Hopefully they'll get above 500. How about the Ravens? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do well this year. They don't look good. Houston made me really wonder. I watched them, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. Thanks, Ike. I don't know about that, but thanks. Baltimore, of course, made the playoff last year. It's easy to see the beginning of something bigger. I'm not so sure. Excuse me. Lamar Jackson stunned the NFL, stepping in for Joe Flacco at quarterback and running for 695 yards and 5 touchdowns. All the Ravens have done since is mold their offense around Jackson. And we all know not to do that. If something happens to Jackson, the offensive line is not going to be able to play. I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing. Yes, it should kind of be that way, but it should be with any quarterback who has to step in. Flacco is gone, of course. He's now the Broncos quarterback. What do you think about that, Ike? I don't have faith in Flacco. I am sorry. Oh, I love the Broncos, but I don't think that was a good thing. We shall see. He's either hot or cold. There's no in between with him. And if he's bad, he's bad. So I'm not sure that was such a good thing to do. But anyway, Robert Griffin III is returning as a mentor, of course. Running back Mark Ingram Jr. arrived in free agency as a sledgehammer for the backfield. First-round wide receiver Marquise Brown is a top target. And despite some defensive losses, Earl Thomas boosts the secondary. Of course, none of it matters if Jackson doesn't stay ahead of the curve, as defenses get accustomed to him as a runner. So the Ravens have changed the playbook, and Jackson seems improved as a passer. He connected on 4 of his 6 passing attempts in Week 1's preseason game. With Jackson clearly throwing well, a new cast of weapons, much more than last year's wild card, should be an achievable goal. It doesn't hurt the Steelers could end up stumbling without a talent like Antonio Brown on the field, too. I think Roethlisberger, get out of there, retire already, we're done. Go away. I make no bones about not liking the Steelers. I detest Ben Roethlisberger. And I think they're done this year. I think they're going to be in the bottom of the pick of the pile this year. So, the Cleveland Browns, what do y'all think about them? Is all the hype justified? Yeah, I think so. Seems to be the case with the Browns. Baker Mayfield was a stud as a rookie, especially after a change at head coach from Hugh Jackson to interim boss Greg Williams. And, of course, we know Freddie Kitchens is now the coach. But, wow, that was the best thing they could have ever done was get rid of Hugh Jackson. He was an idiot. But anyway, and he finished the season with 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. He's flanked by one of the deepest backfields in the NFL. Don't forget we have Odell Beckham Jr., who got as much as he could out of Eli Manning. I think a change was good for him. I really do. He got as much as he could out of Eli in New York last year, accumulating 1,052 receiving yards and 6 scores. I can't wait for this season to start. I really can't. Sheldon Richardson and Olivier Vernon only bring more disruption to a solid front seven. And value picks like second-round quarterback Greedy Williams and fifth-round linebacker Mack Wilson are producing. They're hoping a postseason berth this year. So those are your biggest leaps that are going to happen this year, probably. These teams are ready to make a huge leap this year. Let's hope they do. I really do. Some, I just don't know about the Flacco. I really don't. I just don't know. We shall see what we shall see, I think. What do you think about Ezekiel Elliott? He's finally going to sign. Well, excuse a lot of me. I think it's ridiculous. I really do. He wants to be the highest paid in the NFL. Sorry, Todd Gurley has that a position. You have to earn that. You haven't earned it yet. So sorry. But they did give him a deal, 7-year deal. We shall see what happens. So, I don't know if I know he's been working out. So we shall see. Finally, Antonio Brown is satisfied with what's going on because he held out because of his helmet. He wanted to wear his helmet. I mean, this is getting petty. And Zeke, unless you produce, I don't think you should be paid that much. So sorry. I don't know. I just get absolutely teed off because it's like you think you should be the highest paid. No, I don't think so. You don't have enough years yet. Sorry. Do you have your fantasy football ready this year? Do you play fantasy football? Like I haven't yet. I think I played 1 year. I don't know. I guess I don't want to feel stupid. I don't know. I probably should. I guess. And it's almost time for breakout players. Okay, this is the 5th year. Stephen White, he breaks out his breakout players. It's the 5th year he's picked a breakout player for each team. And do not pick rookies or 2nd-year players unless it's a special case. What matters most is if a guy takes that leap in his development, both in his technique and production. Breaking out doesn't mean a player will be an all-pro or, make the Pro Bowl either. So what do you think makes a breakout player? Confidence should be high. Production on the team, of course. Sometimes a player has potential to break out, but, no confidence in himself or an injury. For an AFC East, for New England Patriots, Matt LaCrosse isn't Gronk, but he can be a Gronkish tight end, yes. Speaking, because this flows through my mind while I'm talking, what do you think about Andrew Luck's retirement? Ooh, I'm sorry, I never liked him as a quarterback. I didn't think he was that good. When he was good, okay, but he wasn't consistent enough. I really don't. I'm sorry that he retired. I wish him nothing but the best. He spent a lot. That man's taken a lot of hits, and that's enough, I think, for him. Anyway, Buffalo Bills. Matt Milano plays with no fear, but he'll make his opponents fear him this season. So watch Matt Milano with the Buffalo Bills. New York Jets. But anyway, Terrell Basham can get after the quarterback if he gets on the field this year. So we shall see. Miami Dolphins. No one will be calling Charles Harris a bust much longer, really. We shall see with that. So keep these names in mind. AFC North. Cameron Sutton with the Steelers will eventually make plays when. And hopefully eventually is now for the Steelers, not for me. Cleveland Browns breakout player Jermaine Whitehead. Yes, I think so too. At long last has found his place in the NFL. I can't wait to see Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry out there. I mean, they have got the players now. If they could get it together, they look good. They were 3-1 in preseason, so getting it together. Cincinnati Bengals. Alex Erickson is ready for a bigger wide receiver role if he gets the chance. So Cincinnati, listen up here. Baltimore Ravens breakout player Alex Erickson. Willie Henry can be a big sack guy if he can stay healthy. So there's a lot of factors involved here. AFC South Colts. Just imagine what a healthy Malik Hooker can do. Jaguars, Dwayne Smoot is too good to be the odd man out on the defensive line. Houston Texans, Carlos Watkins is a big oil dump truck on the field when he plays. Again, a lot of factors involved here. Are they going to play him? Are they going to be healthy? Titans. Michael Pruitt is no Delaney Walker, but he can get off this season. Kansas City Chiefs, they look good. They really do. Now is the perfect time, and I cannot pronounce his name, for Tano to become who he was drafted to be. So let's hope he produces. Denver Broncos. DeMarcus Walker looks ready to prove he belongs with the Broncos and in the NFL. What do you think, Ike? DeMarcus Walker. Keep that name in mind. Oakland Raiders. Darren Waller is a cheat code if he can stay on the field. The Chargers. No reason. Rayshon Jenkins. If I could read it would help. There's my own handwriting anyway. There's no reason Rayshon Jenkins can't handle a full-time safety role. You ever do that? You write notes, you can't read your own writing. NFC East, Eagles. Derek Barnett hasn't had his breakout year yet. That's pretty scary. Maybe this year, we shall see. Dallas Cowboys. Noah Brown can be a unique weapon for the Cowboys, but will he? Don't know. New York Giants. Elijah Penny is more than just Saquon Barkley's lead blocker. We shall see. Washington. Monte Nicholson is in the right position to redeem himself, but will he? We shall see again. NFC North, Green Bay Packers. Don't let Montrevious Adams fool you into thinking he's just a big, strong dude. The Bears, Roy Robinson Harris will make you learn his name this season. Ooh, bold predictions. Vikings, Jadaleel Johnson almost looks like another Linval Joseph. We shall see. The Lions, Tease Tabor needs to learn to trust himself again so he can get his career back on track. NFC South, the Saints. Dan Arnold is only beginning to tap in his potential as a weapon for Drew Brees. I'm so looking forward to as my team, the Saints. My number one team is the Saints. I love the Saints. I love Drew Brees, and I'm so looking forward to this season. Atlanta Falcons, put the ball in Brian Hill's hand and something good will happen. Panthers, Curtis Samuel has a whole other level that we hopefully will see this year. Tampa Bay, the Bucs' new defense will let Noah Spence show he's a quarterback's worst nightmare. 49ers, NFC West, DJ Jones will make other teams regret trying to run on the 49ers. Seahawks, the Seahawks still need David Moore, even if he lacks a DK Metcalf type hype. The Rams. Tanzel Smart can prove he belongs without Ndamukong Suh around anymore. Cardinals. I don't know if there's any help for them. Chad Williams can be a deep threat for Kyler Murray if the Cardinals give him a real shot. I don't understand why Kyler Murray went with the Cardinals. I don't know. That's just kind of strange to me. Just a little strange. So there's some of the prediction breakout players for this year. But what do you guys think? Wow, it's just going to be kind of crazy. So it looks like that was tough to get back down to that 53-man roster. It really does. I mean, it'd be hard to, get rid of some of these guys because, they made plays, but maybe not as much as the other guy or whatever. Just kind of crazy. Let's see. I don't know how he did really overall last year in the picks, but we shall see. A bold prediction is AFC East. AFC East bold prediction, Josh Gordon hits 1,000 receiving yards. Let's hope he can get through the season without any trouble. He was with the Browns, and they had issues with him. That's why they let him go. He was a good football player, except for the issues he has, and it's so sad that that's happening. He went to the Patriots. They tried. And they got rid of him for the same reason. So let's hoping that he gets through the season without any issues. He has only one season where he racked up 1,000 or more receiving yards, and that came in 2013. If he can stay healthy and out of trouble, the prediction, he is going to put up monstrous numbers, which of course will help the Patriots. I mean, they've helped him a lot. They help him wherever they can to keep him on the straight and narrow. So, AFC North. Oh, I don't think so. The Browns make the playoffs. Bold prediction. And for the most of the past 2 decades, of course, you use the word Browns and make the playoffs in the same sentence. You were getting laughed at. No doubt, no doubt. But that's not the case this year. Absolutely not. And after the end of last season, I am so excited. Cleveland has one of the most talented teams in the NFL this year. And as long as Freddie Kitchen doesn't crash the Browns hype train, I expect this team to live up to the hype. Cleveland hasn't made the playoffs since 2002, and they haven't won a division title since 1989. But we shall see. AFC South, Jaguars. The Colts don't have a losing record either. They'll be 2. They'll be like 8-8. I don't know. We shall see. And he retired 2 weeks before the regular season. Why would you do that? Why did you wait? It's not a great situation to put the team in, but if any team can survive that kind of wrench being thrown in their face, it could be the Colts. In the hours after Andrew Luck announced his retirement, pretty much everyone wrote the Colts off for 2019, even the odds makers in Vegas. But maybe Jacoby Brissett went 4-12 with Indy in 2017. This isn't the same team. The overall roster is much better than the one Brissett played with 2 years ago, and the quarterback now has a coach in Frank Reich, who's proven he can thrive in this kind of crazy situation. Reich was the Eagles' offensive coordinator when Philly lost Carson Wentz in 2017. Instead of giving up, Reich and the Eagles rode their backup quarterback all the way to Super Bowl wins. So there you go. We don't think Super Bowl isn't going to happen for them. But expect him to keep his team hovering around 500, which will keep them in the division title until late in the season. AFC West, Chiefs are first. Broncos are predicted third in AFC West. The Raiders finished with the worst record in the NFL. That is a prediction. It could be because he's forming the team. I don't know if they're ready. If you love the drama, now's the time to jump on the Raiders bandwagon. I always loved the Raiders. I love the Raiders. I love John Gruden. Eventually, his madness, there'll be a method to his madness, believe me. You think he's nuts, but he's not. You got to watch him. But anyway, if you love drama, there's a pretty good chance they're going to provide plenty of it this season, and not the good kind. The Raiders definitely got more talented during the offseason. Won't be surprising enough some of that talent. Yes, Antonio Brown, we're talking to you. Starts to implode if this team gets off to a rough start, which is probably going to happen. After getting 2 home games to open the season, the Broncos and Chiefs, the Raiders will go 49 straight days without playing in Oakland. That's a stretch. They'll be traveling to Minnesota, Indy, London, Green Bay, and Houston. The big loser here is John Gruden, and he hates long plane flights. He's crazy. But the upside of being the worst team is that the Raiders would get the first overall draft pick in next year's draft, which just happens to be taking place in the same city the Raiders are moving to, Las Vegas. The conspiracy theories almost write themselves in this. Isn't that crazy? Las Vegas Raiders? Yeah, I don't know. NFC East. Bold prediction, Miles Sanders wins Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Looks like the Redskins will be last. Cowboys, number 2 in their division. When it comes to Offensive Rookie of the Year, voters have proven one thing over the past years. They love giving the award to running backs. Running back has won 3 of the past 4 seasons, and they really love giving it to players from the NFC East. And a player from this division has won the award 4 times since 2012. And Sanders checks both of these boxes. If you're looking for a running back that might win, Sanders makes sense. And that's because he probably has the best offensive line of any rookie running back. The other bold prediction here is that the Cowboys miss the playoffs. They're not the best. Let's just leave it there. NFC North, Bears missed the playoffs, and I was so surprised last year. I thought they were going to the playoffs. I was like, whoa. Excuse me. They did show up for that one. I don't know what happened with them. What about the Packers? What do you think? I don't know. On Green Bay's end, Aaron Rodgers played the entire 2018 season on a bad knee, but he had a stale offense, but somehow managed to squeeze 6 wins out of the team. With a healthy Rodgers and an imaginative new coach, this seems like a good year to predict that the Packers are going to return to the playoffs. On the Vikings' end, they traded the draft pick away to land a kicker. And this trade has already blown up in their face. So there you go. Oh, what do you think with the Browns? They got rid of Colquitt and took, what do they call him? The Irish Hammer. He is so awesome. And kept the 2 rookies. I can't think of Austin and Gaiman. I'll look it up. If you're doing something crazy, you're obviously confident you have all the other pieces of the puzzle in place. Maybe the Vikings do. If Minnesota and Green Bay are going to be better this year, then something has to give, and I think that something is the Bears. Oh, thank you, Ike. NFC South, Drew Brees wins MVP this year. NFL MVP, I do believe Saints will be number 1. Thank you. I didn't think of that. Thank you. As long as I can share it there, I'm happy. Thank you. Thank you, Orange Crush. So, Drew Brees wins NFL MVP. He better. He is so awesome. He is just so great. But a quarterback has won this award in 11 of the past 12 years. So, picking Drew Brees to win definitely qualifies. And because he never wins it, but he will. And if there was an MVP award for finishing runner-up for the MVP, Brees would win it every year. Brees has finished second in the MVP voting 4 times, which means he's finally going to win. Yes, he will. If he can replicate his numbers from last season, that should be enough. He earned it. Of course, with the NFC West, you have the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals. 49ers will finish under 500. Garoppolo is finally healthy. The 49ers have turned into a trendy pick to make the playoffs. Besides the fact that he keeps throwing interceptions, in practice anyways, that there are 2 teams in their division that have a little more talent than they do. Garoppolo's rusty. We shall see what happens, how well he does. NFC playoffs. Saints, number 1. Vikings, number 2. Eagles, 3. Rams, 4. Seahawks, 5. 6 Packers. Let me see. We shall see. Yeah, I don't know if, don't get me wrong, I love the Broncos. But I don't have a lot of confidence in Flacco. Why do you think he's been everywhere on friggin' every team? Oh, thank you, Ike. Thank you so much. I was debating. I was like, should I? I was like, yeah, we need to do a preview before the first game Thursday night. So, see what's going on. Now, if I could spell on here. So, awesome. Uh, Hopefully, a new optimism for the Broncos. Let's hope so. Members of the Denver Broncos organization and fans of the team, and those of us who think Von Miller's best work might come from those body wash commercials. Oh, that's funny. The Broncos are in a state of transition, of course. It wasn't too long ago they were the most celebrated team in the NFL. With a stunning shutdown defense, the Broncos captured Super Bowl 50. Since then, they've been in a steady decline. Some decisions were made, not all of them worked out, of course. But the Broncos are at a crossroads where optimism for a better future is met with the desire to win right now. So which of these emotions are going to win out this year? Highs, Bradley Chubb fell to them in the draft. There were people who felt Chubb might have been top prospect in the NFL draft, but two quarterbacks went in the top three. Saquon Barkley went to the Giants, and then Brown sort of shocked the world with number 4 overall pick when they went with cornerback Denzel Ward, who is turning out to be excellent. Most expected the Browns to go with Chubb. Well, see, that's what you get for assuming. Denver scooped him up with the 5th overall pick, and his future looks bright after a 12-sack rookie season. Philip Lindsay, of course, was a big find. The undrafted running back wasn't even invited to the NFL scouting combine, but he was a stud for the Broncos. Third-round running back Royce Freeman had all of the buzz last summer, but Lindsay turned heads in the preseason, was giving the blessing from Terrell Davis. Lindsay racked up 1,037 yards. He's ready. He injured his wrist late in the season, but he's ready to go. These are the lows. Case Keenum was another quarterback miss for John Elway. I don't know what he was thinking with that one. Broncos signed Keenum to a 2-year deal worth $36 million. Are you kidding? If you don't produce, I wouldn't give it to you. Coming off his career year with the Vikings, that didn't go according to plan. He threw as many TDs as interceptions, and he was shipped to the Redskins for a 6th-rounder in March. So there you go. And, of course, firing Vance Joseph. There was a lot of optimism around the hiring of Joseph as a head coach before the 2017 season, particularly regarding his defense acumen. While the D finished 3rd in the league, it sank to 22nd in 2018. The team couldn't find an answer at quarterback in either year. He led the Broncos to records of 5-11, 6-10 before Elway pulled the plug. Bradley Roby and Shane Ray, of course, did not develop into the players the Broncos had hoped for. They were first-round picks in 2014 and 15. They were allowed to walk this offseason after fizzling out. None of the team's first-round selections from 2013 to 16 are on the roster. Not a good thing. 2019 VIPs. Head coach Vic Fangio, long considered one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. He got his first opportunity as head coach at 60 years. That's a remarkable development for a league that started to give head coaching opportunities to guys in their early 30s, which is very true. But his pedigree as an NFL head coach, there's no fault there. Good luck finding a rookie who has much success in the NFL, as much success. The one thing, adding a rookie quarterback Drew Lock to the mix with a veteran quarterback Joe Flacco could get tricky for a guy learning on the job. We'll see. Quarterback Joe Flacco. Since we mentioned the quarterback position, the guy who lost his job to Lamar Jackson in Baltimore is tasked with getting the Broncos back to the playoffs. I don't know if he couldn't do. He lost his job to Lamar Jackson last year because he couldn't get the job done. This worries me with this. Flacco has everything Elway was looking for in that he's won a lot of games in the league. Yeah, and he's tall, 6'6", which then he could see. I don't know. But everything about this current Broncos situation looks like it's one last stand the way the NFL is moving. As other head coaches get younger, Elway has hired a 60-year-old rookie for the position. What do y'all think about that? Broncos fans, what do y'all think about that? Elway, as quarterbacks get more mobile and shorter, as evidenced by Kyler Murray. Elway went out and got this generation's Drew Bledsoe, a less mobile version, though. So Flacco worries me. He really does. I don't know. I hope for the best. I really do. It's kind of like a movie script to me. An aging Hall of Fame quarterback turns executive is given one last chance to do it his way. He brings in an old school coach and quarterback to get it done. Hopefully this all works out. Of course, a projected 2019 MVP, Von Miller, outside linebacker. He is one of the best players in the game. He registered 14.5 sacks last season, his highest total since he had 18.5 in 2012. Would you ever consider moving on from him? No. We know the heat the Raiders took for trading away Khalil Mack last year, but Miller is 30. You have Chubb ready to take over. If you could get Mack level value for Miller, would you flip him for a contender? Loading up on a bevy of draft choices could be worth it for them. But it's something to think about at least. No way. Von Miller will go when he is ready, correct? Yes. The breakout candidate for this year for the Broncos is Courtland Sutton. He's our wide receiver. The 2018 second-round pick had a solid rookie campaign with 42 receptions for 704 yards and 4 touchdowns. Sutton recently told the Denver Post he believes he's going to be doing a lot more work in the red zone. Sutton had just 8 targets in the red zone last year. But according his target share should increase with Flacco as quarterback. Deshaun Hamilton also played well after Demaryius Thomas was traded away. Another new face you will get to know, Noah Fant, tight end. The Broncos landed Fant with the 20th overall selection. And because he came from Iowa, the comparison to last year's breakthrough tight end, George Kittle, are probably inevitable. Fant becomes the first big-time receiving threat at the position for the Broncos since Julius Thomas left in 2015. Excuse me. If you look at Flacco's history of putting tight ends over in Baltimore, Fant could actually follow in Kittle's footsteps. Let's hope so. Elway is under increased scrutiny as general manager after failing to make playoffs in each of the past 3 seasons, while he's playing musical chairs with the quarterbacks. Should Elway be general manager? What do you think? He hasn't done such a hot job. So, will the Broncos be able to keep Chris Harris Jr. long term? The Broncos will face a decision on the future of one of the top corners in the league after the season. He did get a nice bump in pay to return for this season. Nobody was traded. Nobody held out. The situation has been handled, at least for right now. But will Harris be there beyond this season? The Broncos did bring in a pair of quality defensive backs during free agency. Kareem Jackson, safety cornerback, and quarterback Bryce Callahan. The latter, Bryce, is regarded as one of the best slot corners in the league and thrived under Fangio when Fangio was defensive coordinator in Chicago. This could be good. Do they have a cohesive offensive game plan? The Broncos hired former 49ers quarterbacks coach Rick Scangarello as their new offensive coordinator. He has the right pedigree, or at least a correct connection to the right name, having worked for the Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan. He spent time coaching up guys like Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard in Frisco. Let's hope so. Keep improving the offensive line. The offensive line was in shambles a few years back and ranked 24th in the league last season. Big changes were made to the group this offseason, and improvement is expected. The Broncos made a big splash and they signed Jawan James in March. The deal made him second highest paid right tackle in the league behind the Raiders' Trent Brown. But James is still a young guy who fills a position of need. So there you go. The 3 key dates this year: Week 2 versus the Bears. Fangio gets to meet his former team. Week 7, versus the Chiefs. Those Thursday night games can be brutal for rookie coaches. But they, don't know why you use the Cardinals as the example, but it's just in my head. But anyway, they were blown out by the Broncos on Thursday night last year. The Birds OC, Mike McCoy, was fired the day after the game. I remember that. And Steve Wilkes was fired at the end of the season. That's the kind of gravity these games hold. So you want to watch the Bears week 2 for sure. Week 7 and week 17 versus the Raiders. The Broncos bookend their 19 campaign with games against the Raiders. That's one way to measure your growth in the season. And there's a storyline everybody's overlooking. Last year's draft was actually pretty good. Elway gets raked for not being able to find a franchise quarterback after lucking into Peyton Manning's last few good years. But the 2018 draft class was outstanding. I've already mentioned Chubb, Sutton, Hamilton, and Lindsey. He wasn't drafted, but whatever, you know what I mean? Linebacker Josie Jewell is a real good player who figures to benefit from Fangio as his head coach. Freeman and quarterback Isaac Yiadom could develop into solid players. The overthinking that everybody's doing is his quarterback mistakes. Because it stinks like complaining about Game of Thrones at this point, we get it. Give Locke a chance to prove himself, and let's see where we're at. For this to be a successful season for them, they must. Joe Flacco has to start at least 15 games, at least. If the Broncos are going to have this winning season, it's going to come with Flacco at the helm. There's an outside chance Locke could come in and have some rookie magic, like Lamar Jackson last year with the Ravens. It's probably best, however, if Locke takes time to learn from the sidelines first. You want Locke to be in a position like Patrick Mahomes was during his rookie season with the Chiefs. He sat behind Alex Smith in 2017, started in week 17, and came out like a house on fire the following year. If the Broncos can get through a whole season with their veteran starter, they can shake his hand and let him go heading into 2020. Keeping Locke off the field also buys you another year of something to look forward to. He's got to learn to shove anybody into a position like that. I think sometimes that's the worst thing. There's some really good things going on with the Broncos. This is going to be a year to develop their talent. And it seems like 2020 is when they're really going to be able to make the jump. This is the NFL. It's not like we haven't seen a quarterback resurrect his career. You just never know. You just never know. This team could be in for a surprise run. But at the very least, the future is looking excellent for the Broncos for the first time in quite a while. So, yay, Broncos. We'll see. I know why they got Flacco. I get it, but we shall see. I'm worried about it. I really am. Not a Flacco fan, unfortunately. I'm really not a Flacco fan. Sorry. When they said that, I was like, oh, no, Flacco. No. We shall see what we shall see. So there we go. That's kind of the preview to this season. Sports Talk with Denise will be on every Tuesday night. We'll talk about the games and what we're looking forward to. So, Denver will be in the playoffs. We shall see what we shall see. I hope. I'm making a prediction here. So, I think they're all ready. What else can you say? Go Browns, go Saints, go Broncos. Go all three teams. That would be great to see some different teams happening around the league. Bears last year, boy, that was such a disappointment. I thought for sure they were going to go. But I hope this kind of caught you up on things a little bit. The rosters are ready. The players are ready. See some magic Thursday night. Should be fun. The Browns actually have a couple Monday night games and Thursday. I'm like, wow, about darn time. The Broncos schedule isn't too awful bad. I think they'll be able to handle. You have their Monday night game, September 9th, of course. Oakland Raiders and Broncos. So, first game, they're playing the Raiders. Let's see. Saturday, September 14th. No. No, I don't want. I just want their schedule. You're giving me everything. Raiders. Monday Night Football, 10:20 p.m. That'll be the first game. 9:15, they play the Bears. 9:22, Packers, Jags, Chargers, Titans, Chiefs. Chiefs will be a tough game. Chiefs are good. We'll see, though. We'll see. They play the Colts, October 27th. They play the Browns, 11-3. That should be a good game. 11-17, Broncos and Vikings, the Bills, the Chargers, the Texans. I have my worries about the Texans. I really do. That one preseason game, they got nothing. It was like weren't even there. It's like practice. December 8th, they play the Texans. 15th, the Chiefs, Lions, and then the Raiders at the end of the season. So not a bad schedule per se. Not a bad schedule. So we shall see what we shall see, I guess. So I'm not going to make my predictions for this week. I want to see how all these teams play out. And I'll start my weekly predictions next week. So thank you all for listening. It was spur of the moment. I was like, yeah, I need to do this. So, excuse me, listen to me talk all evening. I know, boring. But I hope this got you caught up a little bit. Elway, I hope you did a good thing here. I really, really do. It worries me. Flacco worries me. He really does. I never thought he was that great of a quarterback to begin with. So we shall see what we shall see. One last thing, we talked about the Broncos. I'm going to see what the starting lineup is for the Browns. I'm so excited. I really am. I am excited. Of course, we got Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., Greg Robinson. It's just insane. They have such talent this year. Joe Bitono, Eric Kush, Chris Hubbard, David Njoku, Demetrius Harris, of course, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, you rock. Myles Garrett, Larry Okajinobi, Sheldon Richardson, Olivier Vernon, Adarius Taylor, Joe Schubert, Denzel Ward, Morgan Burnett, Demarius Randall, Terrence Mitchell, Jamie Gillen, the Irish jackhammer is what they call him, punter. Austin Siebert is the other one. They got rid of Colquitt. These two guys are amazing. Dontrell Hilliard, Brandon Bryant, Robert Jackson, Drew Forbes, Antonio Callaway. Should be awesome. I am so excited. That offensive line should be totally, it's going to be amazing. So, looking good. We shall see. Okay. I'm looking forward to Thursday night football. Oh, yeah. So, and Sunday nights, Joan Jett is going to be with Carrie Underwood to sing the Sunday night football theme. Pretty cool, I think. And let me get you the schedule. Of course, you have the Packers at the Bears Thursday night. Yay! First game should be good. So, Packers and the Bears. So, I'll be able to see what the Bears look like this year. Then we have Chiefs and Jaguars, Falcons, Vikings, Browns, and Titans on 9/8. That's Sunday. Dingbat. That's not what I wanted. But Thursday night is what I'm looking forward to. And we'll get to that on Thursday. So, woohoo! And we'll talk about everything that happened with football on Tuesday night. So, thank you all for listening. Go Broncos, go Browns, go Saints. My three teams. I can't disregard any of them. So, thank you again, Orange Crush, for letting Ike post this on your timeline. Appreciate it much. Please join the chat next week, okay? Like to hear from you guys. All right, that's it for tonight. Signing off. Have a great week ahead. Football starts Thursday night. See you next Tuesday.